Ah, the Dark Princess, my coffee. Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Rudy Hunter from rudyhunter.com, huntershealingcalls.com, and the ashworkerstrainighub.com. That's enough .coms for now. Thanks for being with me, and welcome to a pretty broad spectrum tool that you can use for anything you need to learn. We're calling it Learning Energized Learning with yours truly. And this comes into being because I have a very strong personal bias based on my own history that the world needs more people with very specific skills. And the more skills that you're interested in learning and bringing into the world, the better you'll be, the better your brain will be, the happier your life will be, and the better the world will be. I have a very, very long history starting when I was just a young fella of setting out to learn specific skills for specific things. I started magic and dancing when I was 8. I started voraciously reading psychology books when I think I was either 10 or 12. I can't remember exactly. And if you follow my work, you know that I've been a whole bunch of things. I've been a bodywork teacher. I take bodywork classes to this day. I swap sessions with people all the time. I teach people how to teach, and I teach people how to learn. Fundamentally, I'm a teacher at heart. So what we're going to do in this time together, with enough coffee and enough focus, is we're going to do some very important energy work, and I'm going to teach you a couple of secret skills that will allow you to learn things more gently and easily. And I'll also explain to you some of the largest blocks to learning, because there are a couple of really key ones. So this doesn't matter whether you want to learn how to do a handstand because you've always wanted to learn how to do it. This doesn't matter if you want to learn how to balance a checkbook, for example, or you want to learn how to train your dog, or you want to learn how to have a better orgasm, or you want to learn how to declutter, or you want to learn a computer program, or how to use your computer, or how to use your cell phone, or how to use whatever in the modern world. You can use what we're going to do together now as a way to break through the barriers that hold you back from learning in the style that you do. So a little diatribe first about learning and how we learn and how we process. I'm very interested in the process of learning, not only for myself, but for other people. And one of the things that's critical when someone's on a healing journey is they need to learn how to do things differently. They need to learn how to feel differently, how to think differently, how to perhaps set up a line of supplements so that they're doing that differently, or eat different foods, or move their body in different ways. This is applicable across all of those things in life. And it's also applicable for very nuts and bolts stuff like I've just talked about, a few examples. One of the things, if you learn skills well that you're interested in, you can make more money. You can be happier and be happier making more money. You can have way better relationships if you'll learn some skills about people and yourself. And on and on and on and on. So it really touches every facet of life. And my suggestion to you, in case I forget to tell you later, is pick 1 or 2 things you're working on that you'd like to improve in your life, and put this work to the test for that first. And the reason being, you can put it to the test for everything. But the reason I have you choose 1 or 2 things first at the top of your list is because once you see what those goodies are that it produces in the areas of life you're most motivated in, it will naturally generalize through your nervous system and your life, and learning will become profoundly easier, not just because of the skills, but because you will have already proved to yourself that you can learn more easily in the stuff that counts. All right? So that's the idea of choosing the juicy stuff first. My suggestion is avoid the depressing stuff you need to learn. Focus first on 1 or 2 things that you really want to learn. Maybe you really want to learn how to ask a girl out on a date, or how to tango, or how to zip line without throwing up, or whatever it is, something that's really juicy, that has some oomph to it, that will really open up the process of learning for you more naturally. And then you can do the depressing stuff that you need to learn. You know, maybe you need to learn Excel spreadsheets. Sorry, Excel. Or, you know, you got to balance your checkbook or something. Leave that for after, as my friends say. So let's talk a little bit about learning, and then we're going to jump in, and I'll also teach you some tools. I'm going to do a lot of the work for you, and I'm going to leave you with a couple of tools that you can grab and use on the go when you're faced with a situation where you have to learn new things. So the biggest block in my estimation, and again, it's a very biased view, about learning are the beliefs we have about how we learn or don't learn, or how easy it is for us to learn certain things, or how challenging or difficult it is to learn certain things. Those are a set of stories which we have tons of proof. Many of us have a lifetime of proof. I have a lifetime of proof for myself. I've achieved a lot of things in my life driven by incredible anxiety and repetitive learning, thanks OCD, because I've had a lifelong story that it's difficult for me to learn things, and it's difficult for me to retain things. So for me, rote repetition became an exhausting but effective way to learn a bunch of skills. And ta-da, it worked. The story has never been true. Your story about how you learn, or how flawed or genius or in between, or whether you're a 20%er or an 80%er or whatever the label is that's currently in vogue, that's just a story. You don't have to fight me on that fact. You'll come to see down the road that it was in fact a story, and it's fine to start with your story. You can spend a lot of a life going, you know, it's hard for me to learn, so I have to do X, Y, Z, and this is the way I have to learn, and I got to do it 44 times, and it has to involve pain and suffering, or it has to involve a teacher, or it has to involve a book or a video or whatever. It's just a story. That's probably the largest barrier there is to learning efficiently and well. And a subset of that is that we have to learn a particular way. And our culture forces this down our throat. We learn that we're just visual learners, mostly, or we learn that we're auditory learners, or we're kinesthetic or gut feeling learners, or we're touchy-feely people who have to touch everything in order to understand it. Part of that neurological processing is correct, but it's a very limiting idea. If I tell you that there are certain things that I normally learn by ear, that's a lifetime of discovery to understand that. It doesn't mean that I always have to use my audiophile system, and neither do you. If you get things really quickly by vision, by seeing, it's often very helpful to see someone do something. However, it doesn't mean that that's the only way you can learn. That's very limiting. So what we're going to do energetically here is we're going to take those stories about our perceived limits that we have lots of proof about. I got a lifetime of proof. You got a lifetime of proof about it, about the way you learn or don't learn or fail to learn or have to suffer when you learn. And we're going to gently start to pull the threads away from that so that it can start to unravel. And it will, I promise you, unravel, and it'll do so gently. When it unravels, it's important to know that you won't be disabled or disempowered. Quite the opposite will happen. When we pull the threads of the story away, as things start to drop, what comes forth is our natural human ability to learn through all systems in any preferential order we want at will. That's part of what makes us special as human beings, and also sometimes tragic. I'll be the first one to admit that. So For doing the energetic work, we're going to do it in a couple of different ways. The one important thing, well, a couple of important things. When you do this work with me, you are not to drive, not to operate heavy machinery, because your safety is paramount. I'm going to ask you for some of it to work with your eyes closed if that's possible and comfortable for you. So you obviously can't be driving or doing something that would be dangerous. It's also a way, because you're learning how to learn in the broadest possible sense, that you need to stay as open as you can. The good news here is I know how to keep you open energetically while we do the work. You just need to be safe and sound. In a perfect world, you're in a relaxed and comfortable environment by yourself. In the real world, you know, the dog's probably there, the cat may be scratching at the litter box, the phone may ring, the kids may run in, you know, life happens. You'll do the best you can. All you have to do for me is to show up as you are, and I will drive the bus for us energetically. The work that I'll be doing has to do with your energetic system and very much your nervous system. And they're very, very interlinked systems. So for starters, I'd like to do just the easiest possible round imaginable. For a minute or two, not for very long, I'm going to have you close your eyes and go inside. And when you go inside, I'd like you to just gently and generally, without being too specific, think about your lifelong pattern of learning or not learning. Some of the bumps you've hit, some of the successes you've had, and areas in your life where learning more easily would make life better. So for example, maybe learning people skills in your relationship would change a whole bunch of good things for the better. Or learning about food, or learning about how your body works, or learning about your job, or certain sets of skills that would help your life. So you're going to mull over the general area, and that's all you have to do. I'll go silent. If you need to open your eyes, you can open them. You can watch me. I'm going to close my eyes and go inside while I do the work. There won't be much to see. I'll just be here with my eyes closed. We'll get the work started. We'll go for just a minute or two. I'll come back and we'll let you know when it's time to go on. We'll get that started right now. And there we go. Nice and gently, nice and easily, bring your attention back. Come back to here and now. If you were focused on anything in particular, just be done with it, let that go. Take a moment to notice how you feel inside and out. Notice how your environment feels to you, whether it feels different, it frequently does, and how internally, how you are aware of yourself. Are you more open, more relaxed? Those are normal and usual things that come as a result, but notice anything that's there that's different. The key to this noticing is that when you notice after we do the energetic work, you prep yourself for all of the next rounds that we're doing now and all of the rounds you'll ever do with me energetically, so you'll get more input, more bang for your buck. So it's a really good idea to just take a second or two, notice what's here and what's left. Ever wonder how we'd learn anything without coffee? Can't imagine. All right. This next set of rounds